Alrighty everyone, well game number 2 in this best of 5 series that was played at the WCS spring event and was one of the games within the round of 16 of that tournament finds us on Port Alexander LE. Spawning here in the top left hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Terran pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is Time. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of this series just yet. His name is Harstem. So guys, in this series so far has been one that has been relatively interesting. We've had a little bit of everything so far. We had some, early aggression by Harstem in game number 1, a proxy gateway that he had some zealots and a couple of stalkers trying to do a little bit of some damage, but Time had beautiful defense, and that translated to great offense because he had a timing push after Harstem went for his third Nexus and went ahead and overwhelmed his opponent in game number 1. So the question is what does Harstem do in this game? Simply because game number 1 went for a little bit of some aggression. It just never really seemed to materialize into anything. And so what is he going to do now in this game where he's down a game against this young gun, this kind of up-and-coming player in the StarCraft 2 pro scene in Time? And how is he going to show that he's still got it as a an elite StarCraft 2 pro gamer? We're going to find out, because I think the narrative is certainly around Harstem right now, as he did, that was a tough loss in game number 1. But Time is a very, very good player when it comes to the Terran pieces, just very good at StarCraft, and he's quickly becoming a fan favorite by a lot of fellow Terran players. So should be interesting to see in this game what ends up happening. So let's talk about what both our players are doing here in the early stages of the game. It does look like Time is going to be going for another very standard build. He's going to go for the barracks into the double refineries, followed up by a factory as well as a command center. And then on the opposite side of the map, it looks like the Nexus is going to be coming in, but that is, of course, followed up by a cybernetics core as well as a Twilight Council. And so we are going to see, pretty standard builds by both players, at least in these early stages of the game. It does look like we're starting to see the techs of choice very early on. However, for Harstem, he is going to go ahead, as I said, getting that Twilight Council early on here. He's also going to follow this up by a robotics facility, it looks like. And that cybernetics core, of course, is researching the warp gate, which, of course, the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player in the early stages. So it does look like this is going to, for Time, he's going to follow up that factory with a starport. Going to land that factory right on top of the reactor. And it looks like we're in business now. Now, very interesting. Okay, so it looks like a dark shrine is going to be created here for Harstem. So Harstem is trying to once again kind of pulling out a couple of different ideas out of the Protoss handbook and a couple of interesting strategies here. So we'll have to see what he decides to do, if it's going to be, go for some, using some Dark Templar, or what is he going to do exactly with the Dark Shrine. There's, of course, going to be a number of options, but it should be interesting to say the least, as we're going to see there he's going to follow this up with a couple more gateways. Of course, we're going to see a War Prism that's going to be coming out here. And what I would be interested in is maybe some Archon drops possibly, which I would think, to try to keep the pressure on Time, or at least keeping him at home, because you don't want to give him the opportunity to dictate the pace of the game, because a lot of times when you do that in StarCraft 2, it turns out to be a very difficult thing to manage, where allowing the opponent to kind of dictate the pace. But that being said, we're seeing double Marine production, as well as a Raven is going to be coming out once again out of Time. So he is pretty much going for a very similar build to what he did in game number 1. Of course, definitely did work. Now, we are going to see a couple of Widow Mines are going to be across the map once again, which is one thing that Time did do in game number 1. It looks like he's going to drop these right on top of these probes. Oh my god, could they do a lot of damage? Looks like they exactly are going to do a monster amounts of damage there. to of course, all of those probes. Wow, doing a ton of damage. Beautiful play there by Time, but at the same time, Harstem is trying to go an eye for an eye here as he lands just some Dark Templar into the mix over at that main base location. It does look like once again he's going to try to get a couple more units for his troubles. That is exactly what he's doing. Beautiful play here by Harstem, trying to get an eye for an eye after losing a lot of units there, as in the form of probes. And it does look like once again this Dark Templar is going to continue being a nuisance, and he is going to be taken out now at this point. But once again, more and more drops are going to be coming in. Here come both of those Widow Mines. The Widow Mine is going to only get one hit for its trouble. So both players are, things are happening all over the map, which is really exciting and a lot just to, kind of keep track of at this point in the game and in the series. Both players now really trying to put, a heavy emphasis on trying to keep their opponent at home and at bay at this point. Very interesting play here by both players. But I gotta say, when you're looking at this, Time got a lot of damage dealt there out of those Widow Mines, and now I'm wondering. Harstem is certainly not out of this thing just yet, but I feel like it was just a lot of damage that was dealt over there. I'd say we're going to see an Archon being constructed as well as a Dark Templar. Does look like another handful of those Stalkers are going to come in, but they are going to be shooed away immediately by none other than those Siege Tanks. So the Siege Tanks are really helping out against this ground-based unit composition of Harstem. Stimpak is finishing up now for Time, and it does look like, once again, Time is not really missing much of a beat, at least at this point. Now, we do have a couple of Archons, so we're going to go from Dark Templar to Archon drops now for Harstem. And I'm going to see seeing the disruptors on that production tab for Harstem is very interesting as well. I kind of like that decision a lot. We are going to see the Forge that's going to be coming in as well for Harstem. But I'm wondering, concussive shells as well as, we're starting to see those +1/+1 upgrades are going to be coming in as well. And then on top of all of that, you're going to see combat shield as well. Lots of upgrades are going to be finishing up here for Time in less than 10 seconds. And as in combat shield, concussive shells, and infantry weapons level 1, Blink is going to be finishing up in a couple seconds now for Harstem. And so I'm looking at this. The question that I'm wondering is, who's got the advantage? It feels to me that Time has the advantage once again. He's got an army that's going to be coming out. Third Nexus once again for Harstem. But the issue I'm wondering, though, is that Time once again, the thing is he knows about this third Nexus, and it looks like he's going to go and try to do exactly what he did in game number 1. He's going to want to try to overwhelm his opponent before Harstem can actually build up a big enough force to take on this army. Because look at this. Now the disruptor hits. Oh, this disruptor hits could be absolutely devastating at this point. So it all comes down to the micro right here and right now. Do not want to lose these disruptors. The disruptors look like they are going to get lost at this point. Oh, the Raven is going to help out tremendously. And just like that, it looks like, once again, Time is going to try to overwhelm this third Nexus and really start trying to take a nice lead in the game. Harstem's supply is absolutely plummeting. He wants to hold on here. He does not want to go down 2-0 against Time on a match point, essentially. That would come down to that game number 3. Beautiful disruptor hits once again. Time could actually, he's going to do enough damage, it looks like, at this point. And there we go. GG is called. And Harstem has to GG out after losing that third Nexus, and Time takes a commanding 2-0 lead over his opponent. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Time and Harstem, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 3.